everybody, and welcome to the old Switcheroo. This is a podcast for the Nintendo Enthusiast Forums. Yesterday we put up a podcast, well actually kind of early this morning, we put up a podcast that we recorded yesterday where we made predictions about Nintendo's Direct that happened today. So now that Direct has happened, we've all seen it, we know what content came through that, and so we're here to discuss what actually was shown in that Direct. So I'm just going to kind of start off. Some of this is a little out of order. I just kind of cobbled together some show notes, but starting off with 3DS, because let's just get the crap out of the way first.
Because it's Tyson's favorite system. Tyson wants the 3DS to live for another 13 years.
Yeah. Oh, no. Please, no.
So, like I mentioned yesterday, Usum, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon was shown. They showed their details on that. I don't even really play Pokemon. Do any of you?
Yeah, I'm obsessed with it.
I used to back when there were only 150 Pokemon.
There's like over 800 now, and you gotta catch them all. So.
Oh my gosh, it's too much.
Actually, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon adds 2 new Pokemon, Ultra Beasts to
Back in my day, you had to fight with a cable connected to somebody else. Sorry.
Now,
OCD.
Now it's like, now you fight online battles.
So was there anything at all like kind of really interesting about this besides like the 2 new legendary Pokemon?
Yeah, really. It's your typical third game. They added some new areas. There's like a surfing spot now. I don't know if you could actually surf. There's like a Pikachu meadow. That's bad. There's like new outbreaks.
You can watch the Pikachu mate in their natural habitat.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't really nothing amazing. Just like at the end, they showed all this stuff, which fairly boring, and then at the end of it, they were like, "Oh yeah, 2 new Pokemon."
I think the kind of thing that was interesting, not necessarily like really cool, but just interesting, was that they tied so many different things into like if you buy the virtual console, what was it, Gold and Silver?
That's right. If you buy Gold and Silver, you get a Celebi.
Yeah.
Really cool.
So it's just kind of like little things like that they kind of were throwing in, these little like kind of cross things that we've seen a little bit, but this one seemed to be kind of aggressive in the direction.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely getting Gold and Silver for the virtual console because those especially Silver was like my favorite Pokemon game. That generation is still my favorite generation of Pokemon. So I'm excited to get that, and sure, I could use another Celebi. That'd be great for trades.
My awareness of Pokemon only extends to Smash Brothers. Where I just like to use Jigglypuff and do the down B move where you send them flying.
Yeah, I have a little bit more knowledge. I don't feel so bad now.
There you go. I will refrain from completely geeking out, but yeah. But they always do these third versions. But the third versions of any game don't particularly excite me. I'm not really a big sucker for like this is the same game you already played, but we added a couple new things. Like I already played this game. I don't care. And
they do that a lot in Japan. You get those with the Shin Megami Tensei games a lot and other titles. Just constant like, oh, here's like a few more things and at full retail price again.
Right. Yeah, right.
I guess that's how you sell to a niche audience. You just need to get more from that audience.
There are some games that I would probably do that, but Pokemon's just not one of them for me. I think I'm excited to see it like come to the Switch because I have a feeling I'd play it more if I could play it on my couch. But on the 3DS,
I'm excited to see it come to the Switch because then maybe finally we'll get our full 3D Pokemon adventure that people have been dying for since like the GameCube.
It's going to be like Pokemon Switch Stadium. Connect to the 3DS. We released this game 2 years ago, but it's going to be awesome. That's what I expect, honestly.
No, they specifically said new Pokemon RPG. They went out of their way to specify that if it was going to be like a spin-off or a Stadium game.
Yeah, it's the main RPG developer handling it, so it's gotta be.
Game Freak doesn't do the spin-offs, and they really.
It doesn't mean it's not like a shitty game. It could just be a really shitty one, but.
Pokemon Go 2.0.
Next up, we have Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions.
I'm actually pretty excited for this. I loved Mario and Luigi on the Game Boy Advance. I'd love to play it again on 3DS. Why not? It's a great game. Everybody should play it.
I'm gonna pretty much have a canned answer for all the 3DS stuff. why not on Switch? Like, I would play these games.
That's true. If Switch had like a virtual console or something.
Yeah.
They could have made that really pretty on Switch.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of like things that really require the second screen. You know, they could throw that stuff in a GUI
because Nintendo wants to continue selling the 3DS and making software for 3DS.
I got that. I think some of it too is they weren't expecting the Switch to, sell like hotcakes, but couldn't think of a better sounding term than hotcakes.
It's a classic.
It's a classic. Yeah,
that's true.
But they weren't expecting it to sell like this, and now they're like they had all their eggs still kind of hanging out in the 3DS basket, and I think they're trying to toss them over right now to the Switch as much as they can.
Yeah, I said to Will before we started on the podcast that, he was saying, oh, 3DS is alive and well, there's a bunch of stuff, and I'm like, well, when you look at the number, like how much the Switch content outweighs the 3DS content in this direct, I kind of see it as the opposite, especially when you look at the 3DS stuff and realize that most of that is like already out in Japan.
Yeah. Did it feel like, too, the enthusiast, it might just be me, like, putting myself out there, but it feel like the 3DS segment was really kind of tame and boring, and then once they got to the Switch, there was enthusiasm.
Well, they had like a list, I think, and they just put them all on a list and they quickly went over because it seemed like, they didn't have any major new announcements for 3DS. If that's what you want to take away from this, the 3DS portion, is that there weren't any announcements that we knew about. So, there wasn't no Metroid Samus Returns style negative.
Although Metroid Samus Returns was there.
Oh yeah, it was there. It's coming out. They want to remind people to go buy it. It looks great. It looks great. I'll buy it.
Make sure you get those amiibos.
Travis. I'm cueing you for Metroid Samus Returns. Your blanket statement. Why not Switch?
Why not Switch?
Why not Switch?
I have a pretty strong feeling that's going to eventually be ported. I think that's going to be ported eventually.
If it does well, if it bombs, it might forget it existed.
Yeah, that's true.
That never happened.
It'd be so easy. There's no real point to the second screen on that. I mean,
well, you can have the map on the second screen.
Woo! Yeah, I could press X like I do with Splatoon nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's an excellent point with the Splatoon thing is I was really worried about that and not an issue at all.
Yeah, I've gotten used to it. Honestly, I still miss like looking down and I kind of wish, that Nyko clip thing that they sold where you can clip your cell phone? Mm-hmm. I would love to see a live map through the Nintendo app. Nintendo, if you're listening, do that. But it would be great to have that on a cell phone screen and somehow relate to it. Mm-hmm. But, they ain't gonna do it.
It's like it would be cool, but it's not as necessary as I thought it was. So
that is true.
It works plenty well by itself. Next up we have Kirby Battle Royale. So we knew a Kirby game was in development, but we didn't know exactly what. This looks like more of a kind of competitive game, so less of an actual level based.
I thought, again for type of game, I thought it looked pretty cool. It looks like a fun game. It's got single player mode, which is interesting, and then it's got online battles. I wouldn't mind going online and battling some Kirbys.
You know why they do this though, right? Because Kirby's the only good character on Smash Brothers, so they made a whole game for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. You know why Kirby's the only good character in Smash Brothers? Because Masahiro Sakurai created Kirby.
Good point.
So preferential treatment there,
All that matters, Kirby.
Sakurai's all about nepotism.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, next up, this was kind of a somewhat big surprise. It's Minecraft for 3DS. So, I'm not a huge Minecraft player. I think Minecraft's on everything. I think, I saw my mom playing it on her toast day, but not toaster, her actual toast. But
it's on the microwave now.
Yeah.
It's on my TR18 whatever calculator.
TI-81.
I scratched off a scab and I looked inside the wound and I swear I saw some Minecraft going on in there too.
The germs were like
the white blood cells.
Minecraft, Nintendo 3DS, that's pretty big actually though, because, it's the popular game. I'm surprised they managed to get to work on 3DS. Of course, Kevin, it's new 3DS only. It doesn't work on regular 3DS systems. Yeah.
They've also had Minecraft running on mobile for years now.
Wasn't it like a really stripped down version of Minecraft? I don't think
like
that was
Minecraft Pocket Edition or something, and it was stripped down, but they kind of fed a lot of the features back into it over time.
Okay.
I think this is going to be kind of a closed version of the game that's going to have its own limitations, I'm sure, as well.
Oh yeah, it's totally going to be limited, of course. Like, no way this is going to be like the Xbox One X version of the game.
Yeah, no super duper graphics options or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah.
But the other interesting thing about the Minecraft 3DS announcement, though, is that it came out today.
Yes.
At least as a digital game.
With a packaged retail version coming later.
Yes. So
Nintendo likes to do that.
Next up, Mario Party, the top 100. Cue Travis.
Why not on the Switch?
Yes,
It would be so good. I would have downloaded that today and given them my money.
I mean, be happy for 3DS owners, people who have a 3DS, because they're still getting good quality software for their system, and you know, I'm happy for that. I myself own 2 3DS systems, so I am happy for myself. But
so you're the one keeping it alive.
I mean, I have 2 3DSs also, but it's kind of hidden. I don't know where it's at, honestly.
I don't know where my 3DS is.
Mine are in a code. I pull them out whenever I want to, like, catch Pokemon.
So, I have a question. So there's some games on the old, like, Mario Party games where you have to spin the control stick around.
Those are definitely not going to be in there.
I was about to say, could you imagine that with the circle pad?
They said the best 100 games.
Oh, okay.
There is a reason Mario Party 1 isn't on the Wii U Virtual Console or even the Wii Virtual Console, and that is because of the mini games that required you to spin the control stick that reportedly gave people blisters.
Remember when they gave out gloves?
Weak children.
They had a thing where you could write into Nintendo and they would send you gloves for free.
I seem to remember that.
It's the old N64 blister maker.
Nintendo making children weak. You own those blisters, kids.
Thankfully,
those scars like a freaking medal.
Thankfully, I only ever merely rented Mario Party, so I did not spend enough time with Mario Party 1 to ever develop blisters from their minigames. But yeah.
You know, looking at my hand a little bit closer, I wonder if that's where that's from. It's been a long time since I played.
Us guitar players call them calluses. Yeah. And we praise them. So, next up, Metroid Samus Returns. It was there.
Again, I mean,
what is it, this weekend or next weekend? No, it's the 22nd, right? It's next weekend, I think.
Oh, next weekend, okay.
Yeah.
So, basically, yeah, again, it looks amazing. It looks great. Mercury Steam did a fantastic job. I saw a quote, one of the developers of Mercury Steam, said, we're the first developer ever to have worked on a Castlevania and a Metroid. And we're proud of it.
So, of course, the Castlevania game isn't really held in high regard.
They need to do a Metroid X Castlevania.
Yeah, they need to do. Because apparently,
and they can call it Metroidvania.
Exactly.
Apparently how this happened was, you know, Mercury Steam apparently became determined that they were going to make a Metroid game, and so they petitioned Nintendo. They actually came up with some concepts. If anybody's paying attention, there was some rumors floating around a while back that Mercury Steam was developing a Metroid game for 3DS and Wii U. But what, I don't know how confirmed that rumor was, but what is confirmed that Mercury Steam was making up prototypes of Metroid games for Wii U and 3DS, and they were petitioning Nintendo, and apparently that caught the interest of Sakamoto, and Sakamoto decided to give them a shot by having them remake Metroid 2.
This is also part of why I'm optimistic about the idea that this could get a Switch port, is because Mercury Steam's original plan was to co-develop it on 3DS and Wii U, which means that they had kind of some level of scalability in mind. So it just makes me hopeful for.
And we know that the Switch is really just a 3DS and the Wii U taped together with duct tape, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe in the future, but right now I think they got Metroid Prime 4 coming out for the Switch. They're going to focus on that. They're not going to confuse the messaging or something.
Oh, we don't even know when Metroid Prime 4 is coming out.
Yeah, but Metroid, that's gonna confuse consumers. Consumers will be like, this is the Metroid game for Switch. And it's like, no, they still got Metroid Prime 4. They don't want to do that.
I don't think Nintendo's averse to confusing their consumers. So, and the last thing that was kind of announced for the 3DS was, new 2DS XL models. There's like a Pokemon one that looks like a flattened Pokeball, like it was put on a railroad
That
track.
one actually looks cool. That one actually looks cool. The Pikachu one looks lame.
And then they did an orange one as well.
Well,
And
that
then
was
orange and white.
the orange and white. That was actually at the 2DS launch in Japan.
Yeah.
So that was conspicuously absent from the North American 2DS launch, and now they're bringing it over.
Unfortunately, they missed the memo that orange and black go together.
Oh, I think orange and white's a better combo.
Dreamsicles, man.
Dreamsicles,
orange,
exactly.
orange and
Dreamsicle
black
version.
Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween. Yeah,
All about Halloween colors.
all
Orange
about
and black.
Halloween. What's not Halloween yet?
And then they need green and purple, so they have Joker colors.
That's right.
Hey, you could say the Incredible Hulk too.
Yeah.
Say Hulk colors. Yep.
Yeah, Hulk
Green
colors.
Goblin colors.
Yeah.
That.
I mean, if we want to be
Okay,
technical,
we see that we're
secondary
going to think
colors.
Joker.
or like Super Friends Lex Luthor. You know, a lot of bad guys actually use that green and purple color scheme for their costumes.
But we all know when you see green and purple, the first thing comes to your mind is Joker.
Yeah.
What if it's Mysterio?
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting because like a lot of villains like green and purple, and then superheroes, it's red and blue.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it harkens back to like American flags. You see that a lot in soda cans.
Right.
You got to have some sort of red, white, and blue somewhere involved.
Yep, exactly. You gotta have something. You know, America.
But if you want to be extreme like Mountain Dew, then you use like colors like green.
Oh yeah.
That takes us out of 3DS, thankfully.
Yeah.
And
Well, you
onto
didn't
the
mention
main
all the
show.
Atlas stuff. What do you mean?
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
yeah.
They're porting over pretty much everything that remaining from Atlas.
And
Pretty much.
also Professor Layton, you
Yeah.
know, the new Layton game, and you know, new Ace Attorney, and you forgot the most important game of all, Yokai Watch 2. Something.
Again, that's the whole stream of games that are already out in Japan.
But I do have to say something serious. Why not on Switch?
Yeah.
Why not?
So let's go to Switch then.
So we're gonna switch, and then I'm gonna say, why not on 3DS?
Because it's dead. That's why.
Let's start things off. Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Oh my god.
They put a big focus on this.
Oh, yeah,
The big news right up front here, December 1st, 2017.
Told you.
Team 2017.
What?
2017.
Hey, I haven't beaten it yet, so I refuse to admit that it's out this
The
year.
game isn't released. There could always be like a last minute delay, you know.
No bad vibes here, guys. It's
No bad
2017.
I won't believe it until I've beaten it.
Everything is copacetic. We're cool, but keep the good vibes going.
But in addition to the date release, they announced a special edition. It's going to come with an art book, and a music selection that's getting more and more pointless because nobody uses CDs or.
I really kind of wish they would have put it on another one of those spiffy little USB ports like the last one.
What do
Or
you
USB
expect them to
drives.
do? Like give you like an iTunes download or something now? Like, I feel like it's nice if you're getting collector's edition, you get a CD, it's nice. It's something tactile. You know, you can hold it, you can just,
That is true.
yeah.
I'll put it next to my Killer Instinct CD. It'll be nice on the shelf.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Nice little,
I will say I've already looked for the special edition. I haven't seen it anywhere yet pre-order, so.
it was up on Best Buy for pre-order if you follow.
Oh! Give me just a second. No, I'll check it.
I have to say that the European one looks a little bit better, the special edition.
Well, of
It's
course.
got that like red case. Like, did you ever see like the music selections for the original Xenoblade Chronicles where it had that like red cover for the CD thing with the Monado on it?
Yeah.
It kind of looks like that, like it harkens back to that, and that was like a really cool looking design. So, gotta say that looks a little bit cooler than the one they're using in the West. The one that's on the cover in North America, that's actually on the like steel box for the one in Europe. It just has the outer box has that cooler like red design. But doesn't matter to me, I'm buying it digital.
Right.
But another thing they're doing that's kind of cool is they got a themed Pro controller.
Oh, nice.
It looks, I looked at it. I like the X going through it, but I'm just not feeling that kind of weird, muted pink. It's just not doing it for me.
I get you there. And it's also like Nintendo's really played up with both like the custom Pro controllers and with the Joy-Cons, the whole kind of like asymmetric thing with the colors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's lacking that, you know, so it just kind of
Right.
doesn't feel in the same place.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
I
even if you
do
look
like
at
the design on the face of it.
That is true. I do enjoy that quite a bit. But I just don't see myself going to get it since I already own a Pro controller.
Yeah, same here. I'd probably rather go for the Splatoon Pro Controller, but that's already rare and expensive.
Now, I will say, going, kind of back to the game, and something that I'd mentioned yesterday, I was expecting to see a graphical upgrade, and I think you actually see that at times in the presentation. But
I did kind of notice a few areas that looked like sharper.
Yeah, I think they're still splicing a lot of old video in there, and they're really zoomed in. I mean, Xenoblade's one of those games where you never really are always zoomed in.
Yeah, it's the scope's so huge that it's like Pikmin. If you're playing Pikmin and you're really zoomed in, it doesn't look as good. When you get to that like wider view where you can actually kind of see your surroundings, all of a sudden it looks like your garden.
Yeah, it's a technical art nerd term, optical mix. But sorry, I'm an art teacher. Anyway, but that's what they're shooting for, is that you're supposed to be looking at it from pretty good distance because they want you to get the idea that this world is huge.
Right.
But even then, there was a lot of scenes that were close up that looked really, really nice, really sharp. There was some great
noticed some of the characters too. Like a lot of the character faces a little bit cleaner. Like the NPC character faces, which looked a little rough before, I think.
And I was glad to see that they did go in about the story, and to the extent that they were talking about different, basically nations based off of the Titans. It's a really cool little change in story, I think, to see the Titans more involved in general storyline.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I also like the idea that the main character kind of like scavenges in the sea that the Titans are in. That's kind of cool.
He's got his own. Cool, Gramps. It's my favorite.
Yeah, so that's cool. I'm hoping for a Japanese track. The voice acting was okay. It's much better than the last trailer. The voice acting in the last trailer was pretty abysmal. I think it was a lot of temp files they were using. It's better here, but at the same time, I just prefer my JRPGs with Japanese tracks.
You know what was much better though in general? The music. Yeah. Heck yeah. So that was nice. I didn't hear that at all.
Yeah. Different. It's basically a lot of the original composer of Xenoblade Chronicles 1, whereas Xenoblade Chronicles X, the music was done by the guy who did like the music for the Attack on Titan anime and Kill la Kill anime. So he hadn't worked on games before. He was really an anime composer.
And don't get me wrong, there was quite a bit of music that I really liked in XCX.
Just not the stuff that you heard the most, like in town.
Oh man, I can fly or whatever in the sky so high. And the stupid songs that would have the lyrics that would kick on every single time you jump into the scale. Yeah. I believe I can fly. It was, some parts were good. Actually, the soundtrack was pretty good as a standalone soundtrack that came with it. But whenever you completely start the track over and there's no real looping to it, and you play the game for 140 hours, you get a little twitch every time you hear it.
Yeah, and just Xenoblade Chronicles 1, it's not just that the music, like, you can say like, oh yeah, it was okay, but there were some things that annoyed me. But what amplifies that is the fact that Xenoblade Chronicles 1's soundtrack was so phenomenal. I mean, I still just, I get in my head every time like a story sequence is going to happen in an anime or a video game or something. I get in my head. Yeah, it's just such a great score. So, and it's basically the same people working on this, so I have great hopes for that. Next up, going past Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Splatoon 2. We got kind of 3 things here confirmed. We have a new stage in Snapper Canal. That's kind of interesting. It's got like a riverway down the middle that divides the course, and you have to like make jumps to get to the other side. Interesting.
I missed that because, post-hurricane internet's kind of squirrely with feeds, it seems. I did see we have Kelp Dome back.
That's exciting. I love Kelp Dome.
It's a great level.
I found, once you find like the right shortcuts there, it's like, awesome.
Oh, it's going to be so bad, guys. I'm going to be a body snatcher as usual in that level, so get ready.
And I love Kelp Dome. And then they showed a new weapon, which is the Tentabrella, which is the new umbrella weapon, but like, it's just a massive umbrella now. Like, because this thing is nice. Huge and kind of, it's kind of like squared a little bit, and nice little play on words too, because the weapon names always have like tenta or something for like tentacle, but like the umbrella actually looks like a tent when it opens up. So Tentabrella, they played in with the puns there.
That's great. I love puns. What are its sub weapons, if you don't mind me asking, since I'm kind of coming in without
I saw the bubble bubble thing where they wave the wand, and that's what I saw for the tent umbrella. I didn't see anything else.
Gotcha.
I don't think they clarified exactly what they were, but you actually saw the guy doing the bubble thing and then using it.
That could be some damaging weapon right there. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. Snipper Clips Plus. Do either of you guys have Snipper Clips?
I do, and I missed this.
Snipper Clips Plus it's going to be available both as DLC for Snipper Clips, but also as a standalone game that's going to include the entirety of the original Snipper Clips.
Fancy.
And a bunch of new stuff, new challenge modes. You're going to be able to redo old levels, but with like some new twists and stuff, plus a bunch of new levels and stuff. So they said they're going to do some things based on like comic books and other things. So it's really cool. Snipper Clips is a really fun game. I don't get to play it that often. I want to play it more. I'm actually really looking forward. I'm going to go and see my nephew soon, and I'm looking forward to busting out some Snipper Clips with him.
As a kind of an aside to Snipper Clips, it's really a good, like, well, it's a double-edged sword. It's a good, like, couples game, like if you're playing with your wife or somebody against another couple. Although sometimes it's really, really bad. Like, you can see some knockdown, drag-out fights. Kind of like playing Monopoly. You got to be real careful who you play with.
Yeah. But Snipper Clips is just a really fun game. It's like one of the entire Switch launch lineup was completely overshadowed by one massive 800-pound gorilla by the name of 1-2-Switch. No, by the name of Zelda.
What? What did I miss here?
But Snipper Clips was like the little hidden gem of the launch lineup. I think a lot of people missed that because most of the attention that Nintendo was putting out was for 1-2-Switch. And then everybody else was just going so gaga over Zelda that Snipper Clips kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit and became like a little diamond in the rough, hidden for people to find. But it's a fantastic game. So I'm looking forward to, I'm not even necessarily looking forward to Snipper Clips Plus because I haven't gotten anywhere in Snipper Clips. I just want to play Snipper Clips again with my nephew. So, okay. Cause I just don't want to play that game in one player mode.
Yeah.
Next up, Rocket League. Not much new information. We just kind of got to see what we'd seen from screenshots before of like the new carts basically described. Nothing else really, except that it's coming out this holiday season.
It's still happening.
Yeah. This next one is actually kind of a big deal. It's not something that like I care about, but it's a big deal business-wise for Nintendo. And that is, Arena of Valor, which is like a MOBA game that's huge in Asia.
Yeah, and it's coming from a company I wasn't expecting, Tencent, which is like a massive company in Asia. Like, it's one of the top ones that make tons of money off of MOBAs and other types of games on mobile devices. So it's interesting to see like that developer coming to Nintendo.
Mm-hmm. And it definitely, it's, you can see the visual step up in the game too. They improved it from the mobile version. It looks pretty clean and nice. Mm-hmm. I'm probably never going to play it, but there is a free beta this November. So if anybody's interested in a MOBA, but they want something a little bit like they don't want to like have it running on their phone and draining off their battery and shit.
I've already told my nephew, who's like a huge League of Legends person, like he plays competitively, and he's super excited for this game because, you can take it with you.
Yeah.
So much for not being addicted to games in the future. MOBAs on Switch are going to be our end. So
no.
I'll start prepping now. I mean, I got some MREs.
Yeah, there you go.
There'll be no more production in this world.
No. God, no. No.
Next up, Skyrim. I don't think there are really any new details except for the date. It's coming out November 17th, 2017.
It had dragons.
Pretty soon. Yeah.
It took a long time for them to get Skyrim ported to Switch. Yeesh.
It looks clean though. It looks like it falls somewhere between the remaster that hit the PS4 and the Xbox One and the original. Like it definitely looks cleaner than the original.
Skyrim, and it has amiibo support, and
yes,
it has Link clothing and Master Sword and Shield without having to mod that stuff into the game. So that's cool.
Which is really cool, but I've said this, I feel like the Zelda that came out for the Switch kind of out Skyrim.
Yeah, I feel
at
like
times.
Yeah, at times. Yeah, definitely.
But I'll fight some Draugrs as Link. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm willing to play Skyrim again on a portable. That's gonna be cool. I love Skyrim. I put so many hours into that game on the Xbox 360. Yeah, great game.
So, sticking with Skyrim, you have the developer Bethesda drop two of the biggest bombs for this Nintendo Direct, which is the next one after Skyrim, Doom, coming holiday 2017. And if the footage they're showing is from the Switch version, it looks really good for the Switch.
And can we finally agree that Nintendo is doomed?
Yeah.
Yes, Nintendo doomed.
Yes.
Since 1889.
Yep. I will say I went and looked at some footage like from the PS4 gameplay and just quickly compared it. I noticed that the shadows in the Switch version didn't seem to have as much contrast. They were very light, and it seemed like the actual models on the characters were not as detailed and, I guess, shiny at times.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if this is the Switch version, because I feel like they wouldn't have even shown it like the next game, Wolfenstein.
Right, yeah, that's definitely a Switch footage they showed for Doom. Wolfenstein doesn't have any Switch footage. It's interesting, though, this is Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus. This is the new game coming out.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming out in October for PS4 and Xbox One, and then it's around 2018 for Switch.
This goes to a point I've always tried to make, which is that scalability in engines is really easy now.
Oh, yeah.
And the whole idea of like, oh, this game can't run on it is just malarkey.
Somebody pointed out how Doom on PC runs on systems weaker than Xbox One on PC systems. You know, like...
Yeah.
So, Fried Shoes, who was here yesterday, did want me to mention something specifically about this.
Mm-hmm.
How ridiculous Capcom, Ubisoft, EA, or whoever, in their excuses of using power when it comes to the Switch.
Yeah.
Doom and Wolfenstein 2 are a thing. Capcom saying that Monster Hunter World on the Switch wouldn't work, or Ubisoft saying the same thing about South Park 2 is stupid.
Ubisoft saying that about South Park 2 is
Right?
like,
I mean, Mario and Rabbids
layers
was
of
better than
bullshit.
South Park 2.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Bullshit. If they really wanted it on the Switch, they'd be on the Switch.
Exactly.
You know, albeit with compromises, sure. I mean, you're not going to get all the gee-whiz graphical effects.
It's always going to be compromises. The console versions are never going to be as good looking as the PC version, for example.
Right. But then,
And the PC version's always going to scale down below the console version.
right, but then you get but then you get the excuse from developers too, where they're like, oh, but having to disable shadows or whatever just completely compromises my vision that will not be compromised.
But then they do it on the PC version.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
They let the player have that choice to do it on the PC version if they don't have enough system.
Yeah,
so it's just bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, the minimum spec requirements on so many of these games is abysmal, and they're always complaining the Switch can't do that. Bull.
Yeah,
Switch is a
it's
pretty good system.
Complete bullshit. Switch is plenty powerful. Of course, it's not as powerful as the PS4 and Xbox One, or just Xbox One. Of course, it's not as powerful, but it doesn't matter anymore. It's like it's already reached a certain saturation point where it's good enough, and it's using the same shader technology, and it's using everything else is running the same. It can scale.
So but it's 2017. Everything should be running at 1080p at 60 frames per second, and sometimes 120 frames. Yeah. That's pretty much most of the crowd that is against.
So here's my take. I'm glad these games were announced. I'm glad they're coming out. I hope they sell well. I hope they sell well to justify it, and I hope this proves to other developers and embarrasses other developers into maybe giving Switch more robust support from their lineups, because they can do it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You know what I was hoping you would say though?
What?
Why not on 3DS?
Why exactly? I'm sure these games can scale pretty well to 3DS.
They should time it and release the original Wolfenstein 3D.
Well, you know what they could do is they could remake the levels and story of Doom with like the graphics of SNES Doom. They'll do what Dragon Quest 11 does. They made like 3 graphical versions of that game.
Or like we were talking about on last night's podcast, they could release a shareware disc for the 3DS.
Yes.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
So next up, Arcade Archives.
I'm so excited.
Nintendo arcade games.
You don't know how excited I got over that. Like unreasonably excited.
Is Hamster the same company that's doing the Neo Geo stuff?
Hamster, I don't know if they're doing Neo Geo stuff, but they're
not the same company doing that, but they are doing something else.
They do Arcade Archives on the PS4.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yep. And these games are actually, from my understanding, since Hamster's doing them and they're called they're actually part of that series, Arcade Archives series.
It's just probably these ones are exclusive to Switch, whereas the other ones are on multiple systems. But what's interesting here is that Arcade Archives, that was at the Switch reveal event, wasn't it? Like they mentioned Arcade Archives
We did.
This stuff, the Nintendo stuff, which is really exciting, but we should be getting the other stuff too, I think. So this is even bigger than what we're seeing here. Of course, this is the stuff that really we care about, which is the Nintendo arcade games. The first one that's coming out is going to be Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers.
You know what? The Neo Geo games on Switch are also by Hamster.
Oh, they are?
They're also part of the Arcade Archives series.
Okay, cool.
They're called Arcade Archives Neo Geo.
Huh.
So there's the regular Arcade Archives and there's Arcade Archives Neo Geo. I'm guessing the Nintendo games are going to be a third subset, Arcade Archives Versus, probably.
Yeah.
But it's really cool how dedicated Hamster is to porting all these classic arcade games to modern consoles. And they're really being very thorough, especially partnering with Nintendo to get their arcade games out. This seems to be like, this is a huge effort for this company. It's weird.
They showed quite a few games for it too. So first off, they did announce Mario Brothers. This is not Super Mario Brothers, but the old other one where you have a single screen.
The original Mario Brothers. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mario Brothers, that's going to be coming out September 27th. But they also showed footage or directly referenced Super Mario Brothers, Balloon Fight, Ice Climbers, Clue Land, Pinball, and most exciting to me, Punch Out.
You gotta say Versus because their official title is Versus.
Yeah.
Balloon Fight Versus. Yeah. The Punch Out.
Out's the one that's exciting to me. That arcade one was completely different from the NES one.
Yeah,
I never played the arcade one.
Oh, it's you can just see it. It's completely different. Yeah, it's like
yeah, you could tell.
I don't think that ever released outside Japan.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So I have to think, if I have to guess, I think I would guess a Hamster approached Nintendo about this. And that's probably where it happened. I doubt Nintendo came up with this idea.
But it could have been like Hamster approached them about something else and then it ended up turning into a collaboration.
Yeah.
Where like Nintendo was like, why don't you do these? Or, we don't really know, but it looks awesome. It's exciting.
They previously on PS4, they got classic arcade games up from, all kinds of companies. Taito, Konami, Nichibutsu, mostly Sunsoft, Technos, Japan, Data East, Tecmo, all the classic. I think the only company missing, really, the only companies largely missing seem to be Namco and Sega, who are probably Midway, yeah, but they seem to be focusing on Japanese companies with this. So their focus seems to be on Japanese companies. And so Nintendo obviously was a major player. And now with the Nintendo Versus, to me, that's amazing because especially if we can get stuff like Punch Out or if we can get like actual arcade Donkey Kong on a console, the fact that Nintendo has never ever released a port of that still blows my mind. like they've ported Donkey Kong, but it's always NES Donkey Kong. It's always,
and there were some major compromises made for the NES Donkey Kong.
Yeah, it's a major they had to cut an entire level, all the cut scenes, the interstitials with the animated Donkey Kong were removed. So yeah, it's an incomplete experience. And Nintendo has just not done anything with the original arcade version.
So we got another next game up here is Pokken Tournament DX. Again, demo available today. This was a big thing throughout this thing. A lot of stuff. It's out now. Pokken Tournament DX demo available now. Then Project Octopath Traveler.
I already downloaded that.
Oh yeah, I downloaded that. I played it. I made sure I played it before this.
That game looks amazing.
I was surprised that right off the bat,
better when you're playing it.
Yeah,
and the demo has dual language tracks too.
Oh, nice.
So it's good. Like I've only played like a little bit of it. I just kind of walked around a little bit, and I'm using the one the male character, the warrior. You can only choose between the two, and so you can just pick fights with anyone. So I've done a few fights like that. Battle system looks really cool. Just even like things like the menu system when you get into it is awesome. I'm like, this is like all these companies and, Square Enix particularly with multiple developers have been trying to kind of like recapture the classic like 16-bit RPG like feel, but like modernized, and none of them have done it right. This feels exactly like they did it right. They just did it right. They nailed it.
And really, I like the concept of this. It's Octopath because there's 8 different characters you can choose, and they have different paths to end the story. So it sounds like there's a ton of replayability in the game that you don't necessarily see in a lot of RPGs.
Yeah, it's my one concern about this game is that it's the developer of Bravely Default, which was a game that like started off good and then started repeating itself over and over again.
Yeah,
and it seems like they would have found a different approach to that, like with these different paths. That actually makes it interesting for this game. So I'm like, I was a little bit worried about it for that reason alone, and now playing the demo and stuff, I'm like, I feel really good about this. Right?
It's definitely on my must-buy list. I've been kind of a little worried because I picked up I Am Setsuna and really didn't care for the game.
Yeah, same thing. It's like I said, those attempts to do like the retro RPG, and then they spend all the time kind of getting into the mechanics, and then it's like all the soul's gone.
Exactly, and I was having issues with the battle system, and I didn't care how the characters just kind of stayed in place, and yet the enemies could like move around all willy-nilly. So, I don't know, I was kind of, didn't care too much for that game. As kind of bland. It just led you from point A to point B, it felt like. So I'm hoping this game's, it already has an art style that I find a little more appealing.
Yeah, art style's better, the music's already better, because that's another thing for I Am Setsuna is the repetitive piano music.
Oh, I know.
Just nuts.
Yeah. Same battle music. It's just like what you had with the Xenoblade Chronicles X. Except if they probably could have with the piano music, they probably would have gone, yeah.
Yeah, but man, Octopath Traveler's shaping up nice. I love the graphical effect. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous in a way that, like, you know, when you see like a game and it's like the next step up, or like they do something kind of cool like cell shading, you're like, oh, that's a really cool effect and stuff. But this kind of effect is like something you like. It would have never come from like evolution of like the design. Like it sprang out of like nowhere. It's like, who the hell thought up this idea for the art style?
And it might have been you in the Discord earlier that said it's kind of like this weird cutout 3D voxel stuff going on, or manufactured voxels.
It's really, it just looks so cool. I love the shallow depth of field.
I don't know. It just looks amazing to me.
Yeah, and it's not the kind of thing you'd ever seen before. It's crazy.
No, it's not.
Pop-up book made with pixels.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like I said though, I love that depth of field in it so much. I think that's the thing that I was kind of like, I was just walking up and down the town, like watching the scenery come in and out of focus.
And I see that though a lot on the Switch. Like whatever they're using for the depth of field is actually pretty decent. You see that in Mario and Rabbids, but one game you actually see it is Bomberman, where they have these fairly realistic lighting effects and blur. Granted, Bomberman is hot garbage, but that's my personal opinion. But you know, there's some nice effects that seem to be baked into the Switch that we're seeing that I don't think are necessarily specific to the game. Like, I feel like those are some more, I guess, global settings built into it.
Wii U actually did pretty good with the depth of field stuff too. Pikmin 3 did some good stuff with depth of field, as did Wonderful 101. I think
even that 3D Mario World game did a really good job.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is that it's like it's a shader set that came in after the PS3 and 360, but like before the PS4 and Xphone. And it's something that really shines on like kind of cartoony, like the kind of stuff Nintendo has.
Right. Pixar-esque.
Kind of stuff that like, you know, Microsoft and Sony are putting out. So like you'll see that same kind of effect work really well. Cause I remember when I started seeing that really good shallow depth of field look, it was like one of the versions of SimCity that came out that was using it that looked really good. So there were a few things that were doing it. It's just that like Nintendo's like the perfect system, like, or the perfect company to have games on their system that have that effect, because they know that the games are going to be like, they're going to be a little bit brighter and more colorful, and they're going to be a little cartoony and not like realistic or gritty looking, you know, and all that stuff really plays with that shallow depth field.
Oh yeah, it's complementary to the aesthetic they're going for.
Yeah. So I can't say enough good about that right now. I mean, who knows, because like I said, Bravely Default was really disappointing to me after I got into that for a while, but so far I'm digging this way more than I ever dug Bravely Default when I started playing that. Another thing out now, ARMS Update 3. So
yeah,
I popped in and played a little bit of that too, just to try it out. Lola Pop is in there. She's got her stage now, but the big thing, mappable controls, huge.
All right.
Huge.
Oh, I'm so excited. And am I the only person on TNE or Nintendo Enthusiast that actually uses motion controls? Like, I'm super excited that the motion controls are adjustable in this, but I think I can map a block button even. And that's,
yeah, you can.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, you can, because I'm playing on a Pro Controller, but, like, I hate any game that makes me press the analog sticks as a button.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's like nails on a chalkboard to me.
Sony made us do that, right?
Yeah, I hate it. And I've always thought, like, come up with something else. Like, make the grips, like, squeezable and pressure sensitive. Do something besides that annoying click on the analogs that just unnerves me. And just being able to, like, take the guard and arms that was assigned to to that button off to something else, just that alone, all of a sudden I was, like, playing the game so much better.
Oh, I'm scared, though. Like, do you realize how good people are about to get?
Yeah.
Like, there was a little bit, one person that's really good on here, who's not with us today, Fried Shoes is scary with Twintel.
Yeah.
I'm legit, like, afraid. Don't tell him this. Hopefully he doesn't make it a fun podcast.
Game's gonna skyrocket.
Oh, man.
Don't check the podcast, Fried Shoes.
Don't let him know this, guys. Like, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, right?
But the new character looks really cool, too, and I don't know if the timing is on purpose, but it is out.
Yeah.
And how perfect could you have made the timing of this? I teach, so I see all these, like, middle school, high schoolers that are, like, all about it right now, and they're drawing it and bringing me drawings of the creepy clown character, and something about the synergy between the two right now is just really funny to me, and it seems somewhat timed, but I don't know, because this seems like a silly character you wouldn't put as, like, your first real new character.
Right.
But that's just me. It seems a little too coincidental. I would expect Nintendo to put something other than this weird clown lady with blow up pants that look like MC Hammer pants.
Clowny clown.
Clowns!
Clowny McClown face.
Yeah.
Clown ladies. Yeah, just nothing.
But man, yeah, so ARMS is going to become super competitive now. I'm scared of that on the multiplayer aspect. I think I can finally start beating the single player aspect though, because that game drives me nuts, and a lot of it has to do with the blocking and
single player.
So much better. Let's see here. Dragon Quest Builders.
It's like Minecraft, but an actual game. I'm excited.
Yes, I'm excited for Dragon Quest Builders on Switch. I almost bought that on PS4. I downloaded the demo on PS4. I loved it.
Is this our first news of it on Switch, or was it announced before, but we just didn't see much of it?
I feel like it was announced.
I think it was already announced. Like, I feel like I already got excited for this. Like, I'm having deja vu.
Yeah, I'm wondering that because I'm thinking that we might be confusing Dragon Quest Builders with Dragon Quest, what was the other one? Dragon Quest Heroes or Warriors.
Oh, I don't care about that. I care about Builders.
I'm saying that it's like we were thinking Builders was announced for Switch before because Warriors was announced
because Warriors was already announced for Switch, yeah.
You know what it really probably is, though? We haven't had this much good news on a Nintendo console in so freaking long that I think we're over inundated and we're just, like, dazed and can't quite figure out, like, where the heck is up and down. You know, everything's great.
We're just kind of wandering around in a happy, drunken stupor.
It is. Like, these are golden years to be a Nintendo fan right now. I mean, we haven't been treated this good in a long time.
Just think about the first
year.
To be king. Just think about this. Switch came out this March.
Yes.
Think about the games that are going to be out by the end of December.
You know,
oh man.
You know what? And here's the thing. Switch in its first year has every single genre you can name covered almost.
Yeah. It only doesn't become a thing when you start nailing down the the subgenres.
Oh yeah, but let's not do the major genres. Let's see the major genres. People, racing games, check. You got Fast. You got Mario Kart. Fighters, check. You got ARMS. You got Pokken Tournament.
Street
Fighter 2. Shooters, check. You have Doom for your first-person shooter that's coming out this year. Third-person team-based shooter in Splatoon. RPGs.
Fights game.
Morpheus, yeah.
RPG,
you got Gaia on the strategy RPG front. You got Xenoblade on the epic RPG front.
Yep. You got Mario and Rabbids on the tactical
off the wall RPG checkbox. Yeah.
Yeah. What else games? Sports games? Yeah, we got FIFA. We got NBA 2K18. We got
3D platformer. We got Mario.
Yeah, 3D platformers.
The only 3D platformer that matters, honestly.
And 2D platformers. We got Sonic.
Yeah.
We got old arcade games. You know, we've got indies like crazy.
Like basically all the requirements, like people say, like, oh, well, like people criticize genre, like, well, the N64 was lacking in RPGs or fighting, decent fighting games.
I think the only arguable one right now that like we're lacking is Sandbox, and I say arguable because we have Lego City on the cover, but that's a port. Zelda's open world, but it's not a sandbox.
That's true. Minecraft.
Still, it's not Sandbox in the way Grand Theft Auto is. You know what I mean? It's not that genre.
I don't really.
And LA Noire isn't Sandbox like that either.
Well,
it's not an open world, but it's different.
It's more episodic.
So I think that's the only thing that we don't have. But even there, we have Lego City Undercover.
I'm not calling genre if the only thing that really fits is Grand Theft Auto. Okay.
No, there's other games in that genre too. Saints Row being like one of my favorites.
That's true.
But I think that'll be filled. And like I said, if you count, like ports of things you already had on Wii U, then of course you have Lego City Undercover, which fits in that mold as well. But yeah, everything.
It's good times.
So this is Switch's first year on the market. We already have Zelda. We already have Mario. We have all these, we have all these great games. Almost every genre is accounted for. You can't ask for a better first year software lineup for any system. Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen a first year lineup this good ever.
Yeah.
I can't ever recall, definitely not Nintendo, and I can't recall. I can't imagine that for anything else either.
Like, can you imagine Wii U having this kind of first year lineup? Yeah, I mean,
it's crazy.
I hate to say it, the Wii U still would have dropped like a rock.
What
a stupidest name. But that's a topip for another day, I think.
Yeah, it is. we're past that now. It's dead.
I still
and
have
buried.
anger.
It's dead and buried. It's all okay now. It's okay.
And apparently the Switch is now dead and buried because the next game we have is Kirby Star Allies.
Okay.
So a Kirby game comes to the system, that's the end of the system, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. Kirby usually releases.
That is true.
Kirby is the herald of the console apocalypse.
Like one of the last NES games released was like Kirby's Adventure.
Man.
Kirby Star Allies showing spring 2018. Nothing really new that I can think of from what they showed in it. Just more. I would have rather them shown more Yoshi.
I don't know.
I think I'm done with Yoshi after that last one.
Oh, that new one looks so good though.
It looks
art style
great.
so gorgeous.
It was nicely done, but I guess I'm getting tired of the pop-up book or yarn aesthetic that they keep throwing on the games.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what their obsession with it is.
It's charming. And it led them to make those awesome amiibos.
Oh no, I have one of those and my dog chewed part of it up. But, I'm just tired of it. Give me something new. And that's what Nintendo's supposed to do. They're not supposed to regurgitate the same style for 5 different, character types. They're supposed to give me some sort of new gameplay every new console. At least in my head they are. So.
But man, right. I don't know. I can't argue it just because they nailed it so much on this Yoshi game. Like they did it so well that it's just like, I accept.
Yeah, you can't really go past it. They did it, it's done. Let's move on, get a better Yoshi.
So the next game up is Fire Emblem Warriors. I think the only new thing we saw was that there's going to be a Chrom and Tiki amiibo. So more amiibo.
Nice.
Yeah, amiibo.
More
Next
Fire
second.
Emblem amiibo. Nice.
Speaking of amiibo, Zelda Breath of the Wild. A little bit of talk about DLC Pack 2. Only in that the Champion amiibo are due out November 10th. They did not give a date for DLC Pack 2, but gotta imagine it's going to be November 10th. They're going to time it with it. They've always done that. Whenever they release like an amiibo line, it's always like tied to some software.
Oh yeah, always.
And the helmets that you get with it, or I'm assuming you get with it, are really cool looking.
They're all based on the Divine Beast. They
exactly.
look really cool.
It was a cool idea.
Love it.
Yeah. That's all we got. I was hoping we'd get like a story trailer, but we didn't get that, but still cool. But then we have the kind of the big game of the Direct, Super Mario Odyssey. And man, I gotta tell you, for 3D Marios, I'm always one of those ones that like, I'll get one like every couple generations or something, and that's like, I get my fill on it, and I I like them, but it's just like, it's just not my genre. So I get it. And I was feeling that way with Super Mario Odyssey. Like, oh, I like Super Mario 3D World and Galaxy. I don't really need another 3D platformer. This is the first time where I started going like, maybe I need this 3D platformer.
Bro, you underestimate Mario.
I don't underestimate it. Just it goes a little outside of my taste.
I was about to say, you heathen. What are you talking about? That craziness over there?
Because it's never like I don't like it. It's always just like I've kind of gotten my
Mario always redefines. He always tops himself with every new game. That's what makes the Mario series great.
Honestly, the thing that got me on it in this trailer, though, as silly as it sounds, is the snapshot mode.
Yeah.
Instagram filters on Mario.
It's just the way you could pause the game, then move the camera, line things in, add in elements, change it's like, oh, it's awesome. I just love stuff like that. So
I legit think Mario Odyssey is going to be a Game of the Year contender. There'll probably be some bitter debates amongst Nintendo fans as to whether Zelda or Mario deserves Game of the Year.
I still don't see it. Like, Zelda is just too good. It's too fresh, too new.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I think Mario Odyssey is going to be amazing.
Oh man, it looks fantastic. It's just.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great.
Every time a 3D Mario comes out, it's in contention for Game of the Year, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
even the ones that are looked down upon are still in contention for Game of the Year.
I mean, what do people have that I guess they can compare for Year of the Game at this point? Nintendo's throwing out Zelda, Mario Odyssey, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which are all like these massive, amazing games. And maybe I'm putting more stock in Xenoblade than maybe I should, but that's those three games. I mean, what else is there that is even close?
I don't know. People are saying PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, but
yeah, but I mean, it's just a multiplayer game that
exactly.
You sink time into. It doesn't have that same sort of epic, mind-changing feel.
That's my opinion. I know people in the industry, the gaming
could be biased,
industry, don't feel the same way about these things.
Right.
But yeah, I'm struggling to think of what even comes close. Like.
And I feel bad for that other game that I can't remember that's like Zelda.
Horizon Zero Dawn?
Yeah, like I feel bad because that poor game.
Yeah, that poor game. Even that poor game, that poor amazing game. It's fine. It's not as good as Zelda.
But yeah, like they had to go against Zelda.
Yeah, they did.
And they had too many similarities. At least in some visual aspects of it. I know you're like hunting robot monsters.
I get what you're saying.
But then the Divine Beasts are robot monsters, so
yeah, there was a lot of similarities there.
And the Guardians were robot monsters.
Yeah, so I don't know, maybe those poor people. It was still a good game.
My way I've always looked at this, and I got in a debate a little bit with Koenig on the Nintendo Enthusiast Forums about is when you're looking at like a game and how you should rate it or how you should look at it, I say kind of look at every game that's kind of in contention for Game of the Year. Kind of put them on a list together, look over that whole list and tell yourself, in 25 years, which of these games are you going to remember?
Mm-hmm.
Like, not the franchise, not like, oh yeah, I'm going to remember the Uncharted franchise or something. Not that. I mean, the game itself,
That is true.
And we were talking about Super Mario Odyssey, Zelda. I think both of those are going to be remembered in 25 years.
Honestly, I think Mario and Rabbids might actually be. The animation, the art style, the way that it flows and actually is a darn good game is really timeless. And that's not something I was expecting.
I tell you, if a Nintendo game doesn't get Game of the Year this year, it's fucking bullshit.
Rigged.
It's industry bias, because no freaking way. Like they're pulling out like their massive like A game, like A++ game this year.
And everybody in the industry is sweating.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Like
they have
this,
taken over.
Yeah, they have taken over. And it's just like I'm trying to come up with anything that's a contender. Like Horizon, there hasn't really been anything this year on other platforms.
There really hasn't, other than like half-bit remakes, or the second versions, or number 5. There's just nothing that great out there. Wondering what next year looks like.
I have to say I feel a bit vindicated in that how many people I had to argue with when I was promoting my whole hybrid theory for Nintendo, and that that's the direction they should take.
Mm-hmm.
And how many people were like, that'll never work, and that's not what's going to be good, and why would anybody get that. It's going to be underpowered and all that stuff, and I feel so vindicated now.
Oh yeah, they took over the planet.
Oh, they sure have.
And they've taken over mobile to some extent with things like Pokemon Go. I mean, the craze for that was insane, and that's just fueled the Switch in a way. I mean, I still find those connected somehow, but...
You know, if they're connected somehow, that was totally all according to Keikaku for Nintendo. Because that's the whole point of Nintendo putting out mobile games like Pokemon Go, is they hope people would play them and then, like, say, somebody would download Mario Run on their iPhone, and they'd love it, and then they'd see Mario Odyssey for Switch, and say to themselves, well, now I need a Switch because I gotta play that Mario game.
Exactly.
At this point, I have to defend you guys because I know that there's somebody listening to this saying, but Pokemon Go is the Pokemon company, not Nintendo.
Yes.
That's a BS company thing. That's a tax shelter thing.
It's not entirely
the Pokemon company.
It's not entirely BS because they do run independently. They do things independently.
It's a tax shelter
of Nintendo.
It's the Japanese version of a tax shelter. There's so many businesses that do that kind of stuff.
Pokemon Company has been releasing Pokemon apps on iOS long before Nintendo themselves
Nintendo allows them some autonomy, but it's still Nintendo owns such a vast controlling stake of that company.
Right. And it's still to prop up their own business. I mean, you look at the net worth of Nintendo is insane, and we've heard this whole Nintendo Doomed argument even before they were going to release Doom for it. Nintendo
Doom since 1898, I think it is, yeah.
1889.
1889, that's it, yeah.
You know, they make so much money off of their own consoles. It's really amazing.
Well, you know, Tyson, you say you were vindicated. People doubted the idea. Well, you know, the CEO of the Pokemon Company even didn't believe in a Switch. He told the CEO of Pokemon Company told the president of Nintendo that not to release the Switch because it was going to be a failure.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Yeah.
I saw this coming miles away, like way before NX Dock started. Like around the time Wii U was coming out, I was saying like I immediately saw what the Wii U really was, which was that it was this half step towards what they could eventually do. And that's when I started thinking about hybrids like so heavily, and I just constantly facing doubt from people going like, and every time I kept pointing out the same things. It's like, you have to look at it this way. They're unifying their lineups. They're creating a single beast that plays everything. And over time, you're going to start seeing like how crazy that actually is.
So Suda51 gave his thoughts, what he thought of Switch when he first saw it.
He thinks it's punk as fuck.
Switch is a punk console. I was shocked by it. I thought, whoever made this must have something wrong with them in a positive way. This guy must be messed up in the head to think of something like this.
That's such an awesome comment.
Yeah.
As a punk rock aficionado, I love that kind of stuff.
Yes, it's awesome.
So this is, Nintendo is just killing it. This Direct ended up better than I thought it was going to be. If I have one complaint on this Direct, it's that nothing from Platinum Games, so I guess they just were trolling.
I told you he was trolling. You can't take Kamiya tweeting something at face value like that.
It wasn't just him though. It was like other people at Platinum as well. So it's all on us. That's a little disappointing, but like in the long run with it, it just doesn't matter. There's so much awesome in this Direct that it was like,
oh yeah, it was great.
Like, oh no, Platinum. Ooh, what's that?
The one thing I was really hoping for was the smart move by Capcom. And Capcom, if you're listening, there's still time.
Yeah, I really thought there would be a Capcom announcement. There wasn't.
I thought I already explained this yesterday, guys.
I know.
Capcom and Konami are in a competition with each other. This is how billionaires get their kicks.
The day when Bethesda has better support on a Nintendo console than Capcom,
the world's gone crazy.
Yeah, the world's gone insane. It's backwards.
There's hurricanes, fires, Bethesda's on Nintendo. I mean, it's just nuts right now.
Yeah.
Cats being friends with dogs. It's just
man. Wild.
Fire and brimstone.
So, a few other things I wanted to point out about Super Mario Odyssey. We went way off topic, but there are a few things I wanted to bring up. There's mini games in this, and the mini games have online leaderboards.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's so cool, because it's just like, really? Wow, there's just something awesome about that.
It's just layers upon layers of good.
Yeah. There's tons of power moons. They were showing like a scrolling list of the power moons in one of the cities. And there's like already like 8 or something they've confirmed. And they said there's more of these cities. And they were scrolling through and you saw it went well past 6 in that area. So this isn't 120 stars anymore. This is like Croc Seed territory.
Collectathon.
But yeah, it's like, it's all there to encourage you to explore, just like the Croc Seeds were. And
those were such a good thing about Zelda.
And the other thing I wanted to point out is that they showed 2 new areas, Bub Lane and Shiveria. Bub Lane is a cool looking water area. It's kind of like the water areas in 3D World, actually.
I thought it was Mario Sunshine Part 2.
But then Shiveria is the one that I really like, only because how awesome does Mario look with frost on him as he's running? You guys notice that when he was running and he was just covered in frost?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's so awesome. Such a cool looking effect.
It kind of looked like I Am Setsuna. Everything was just white.
Yeah. But that's the whole game in I Am Setsuna.
Exactly.
You never leave that area.
You're always there in the cold.
But yeah, I mean, I guess that's pretty much it for, oh yeah, okay, one more thing for Super Mario Odyssey. They announced a Switch bundle. It's gonna have the system, the game, and a Mario Odyssey carrying case and red Joy-Cons.
I am definitely buying those red Joy-Cons.
What? Wait until Christmas.
What?
Did they show them that they're selling them separately, or is it only in the bundle?
I don't know. Maybe that's my wishful thinking. They're going to be sold separately. I don't see why they wouldn't, but then Nintendo.
I guarantee you this is what grandmas are going to be fighting over at Christmas.
Yes.
Like, it's going to look like WWE over some Switches for this console.
Black Friday.
Black Friday. Come on down to see the Switcheroo fight.
Yeah.
Friday.
Grandma's got a mean roundhouse kick.
Battling Betsy. And
do either of you watch South Park?
I on occasion I've had seen some South Park.
Did you see the episode where it had was it that Chinese singer, that female Chinese singer?
Oh no,
I think so.
Wing, I think was her name, Wing, and
it's been forever. That's way old. Yeah,
they were gonna take her and put her on like an American Idol thing, but they couldn't do it because the line was too long, and so they ended up putting her on the Contender, which is a boxing reality show. Yeah, and when the ring guy like announced it, he was like, in the black corner wearing the trunks. He's like, that's the little guy. He's all, and in the red corner wearing a lovely floral powdered gown.
This is what you're saying Christmas is like. That's gonna be awesome.
But yeah, man. But to answer your question, I figured it out. The red Joy-Cons will be sold separately, but only in a single, undisclosed province of Japan.
And somewhere probably in Canada.
Only in one shop, like one franchise shop in Japan in that single province. It'll be like, when they have those select like 10 different types of like green tea Kit Kat flavors in Japan where like they're like distinct to certain regions. You can only get them there. That's going to be your red Joy-Con.
They got they got white chocolate, cough drop Kit Kats now in Japan.
I wouldn't doubt it. They have so many.
No, like literally, like they added powdered cough drops to Kit Kats. They're selling them in Japan.
It doesn't surprise me. Like I said, they literally have like 10 different versions of green tea Kit Kats.
That's insane. Like here we have like 2 flavors. We have white chocolate and regular chocolate.
And then we just have like different sizes. Like here's the Bites variety and here's
and occasionally I've seen like orange and cream. That's it for Kit Kats in America. In Japan, you could like construct an entire like freaking meals of like different flavors.
Yeah, and with that level of off-topicness, we bring this episode to a close. So thank you everybody for listening to our reaction to the Nintendo Directs. Yeah, it's been fun. We still need to do a Zelda one. We've been talking about doing a Zelda podcast for a while. I imagine at this point we'll just wait until the DLC Pack 2 is out and talk about the whole thing, including that, because we put it off so long already. But yeah, we'll do another podcast when we have something interesting to talk about, or whenever we get around to that Zelda one. So thank you everybody for listening. Bye.